Hey folks, so today I was sharpening up knives and my good old-fashioned Mercator. I realised that the tip had been bent, and it got me thinking about retiring knives and some of the old knives I have, and why some knives like this one will be retired while older knives won't be. So I figured I'd do a little video today about this and run you through the knives that I actually use and what their story is and why they're valuable to me. So yeah, stay tuned. Okay, so the first knife I ever was given was this one here. It's a Hobo knife. It's in the shops modernly as a Hobo knife. It's rusty as anything, and there's a story behind that. It has, if I can get it out, a spoon, fork there. It's rather tough times, a can opener, and of course a blade. The story behind this knife: I was about 2.5, maybe getting on to 3, and Santa Claus decided to give me this knife. I think I have never actually used it as a knife, but it spent my childhood in the toy box. And yeah, I used to play with it a lot, and it's, as you can see, it's fairly rusty. Blunt. Actually, it's got more of an edge than it did a year ago. It's obviously rusty. That could be cleaned up quite simply. When I discovered this knife again about 4 years ago, all the metal was this colour. And I soaked it in some baking soda, an old family trick, and yeah, left it just sitting there wrapped in paper. Now it's become back to this colour here. So that's my oldest knife. Would I take this with me? No, because these things are actually a lot heavier than they look. It's lighter, it's easier to carry, Gerber or something, so something like that, with some proper cutlery. So that's my oldest knife. Right, the next knife is this little beastie. It's a Mercator. It's the same design as what the World War II German soldiers would carry in the trench. I was given this when I was 14 by my scout leader as a prize for making what's called a Woggle. And that's the Woggle I made. That design on it is the New Plymouth District Scout symbol. It's an oil pump. So, the story behind this knife, I won it as a prize. I've kept it quite sharp, and yeah, for the first year or so, I didn't have the strength to undo the latch properly, and it was very much a struggle. I then was using it outside one day and forgot to prick it inside. Went out a week later after a storm had passed, and the entire blade was rust. And very upset, I told my father, and he cracked up laughing. He said, "Put it in some baking soda." So I did. And for the last 25 years or so, I've slowly been watching this, the metal restore itself to a proper shape and proper colour. 12 months ago, there were some lovely swirls of rust on here. This has always been my sharp knife. A couple of years ago, everyone was talking about patotting knives. I tried it with this knife. I don't know if that will show up, but it created a wobble there. I thought, screw it, I'm not batoning this knife. And so got myself a replacement. This knife I'm retiring because of this tip. I'll just see if I can zoom in. Doesn't look like it wants to zoom in. Okay. Right on the tip. See if I can get it into shot properly. Hopefully that will show up post-production. But from about where my thumbnail is there, there's a definite curve coming this way. So I'm retiring this knife due to that specific purpose. My next oldest knife Cayman I got from basically a sells tools and whatnot. It's one of these, very small, doesn't even really fit my hand anymore. Has a nice locking mechanism, stainless steel, and virtually impossible to keep sharp. So it's more of a collector's item than a real knife. After that, about 2 years ago, I got myself a Gerber. So I got this after batoning this. Thought, screw that. I went into the local knife shop. I said, I want a knife that I can abuse. They pointed me in this direction. I've batoned this, I've stabbed trees with it, I've done everything I can to damage it, and it's surviving. Polishes up very easily with a bit of kitchen oil and a paper towel. The only complaint I have with this knife is that it does not keep an edge very well. This is only a 4-inch blade. There's enough power within it to do most things that you'd want a knife to do. So that's my Gerber, which is at the moment my go-to knife. So, this Christmas just gone, there was a gift under the tree with my name on it. From Santa Claus. It had that in it. This lives in my pocket. It's got, I think, about a dozen tools, including that thing there, small knife. Surprisingly, I don't use this knife very often. I do, however, use other things on it, like that tool there, which is great for rope work. And some of my friends call this the MacGyver knife, because, hey, they're into MacGyver still. My latest knife is also technically my oldest knife, which is this little doohickey here. This belonged to my grandmother, who died about 10 years ago. And it's a little pen knife, 2 blades. You'd carry this in situations where you would be dressed up, but you still wanted a knife with you. It was fancy enough to be fancy. The most surprising thing about it is that the blades, as they were handed to me, they were sharp. So that's my small collection of knives that I will actually pick up and consider a knife. I do have a few others that are boring and not really worth showing. But yeah, so if I'm carrying knives, it's going to be that one, or that one. The rest of them are pretty much retired.